Hello everybody, my name is Darkhive3, welcome to another video. Today is going to be another one of those ranty videos, but it's not quite going to be as ranty as previous ones, if you know what I mean. So PlayerUnknown has been having a little bit of a PR problem of late. They had the whole banning thing. You'll notice I took down my video from last week about PlayerUnknown because there was just too much misinformation in there. Certain things had come to light which showed that people who were claiming things were actually drawing things out to try and get a bit more outrage flying. People on the internet want to get drama and outrage. Who fucking knew? And I got a bit confused with the short term of EA. EA not meaning Electronic Arts, EA meaning early access. But now that that's out of the way, let's quickly go into what we're going to be talking about, and that is the microtransactions that are going to be coming up at some point in the near future, by the sounds of it, for PlayerUnknown. Now, for PlayerUnknown's backgrounds, the head developer himself, PlayerUnknown, has kind of made it clear that he kind of wants to go down a route where, or well, it sounds like he wants to go down a route where every cosmetic item is purchasable directly with real money transactions. Removing entirely the in-game progression system in favour of something like CSGO, where everything is paid for in order to unlock skins for guns. Now, I think this is where a lot of the community, or a chunk of the community, it's hard to tell how much of the community is actually pissed off with something, because when you think about it, there are over 5 million purchases for PlayerUnknown Battleground at this point in time, and that's only going to go up. And of that, Christ knows what the percentage of people on the subreddit is, but it's nowhere near 5 million. Actually, I don't think we're anywhere near even 1 million. I don't know. I'm going to have to check this, but I don't think it's a lot of people in the grand scheme. And I don't think you can count that as a majority if people are complaining on the subreddit, because the majority of people don't care enough to go to the subreddit. But anyway, it's got a fair number of people in the community a little bit not sure about it. Now, I know that me and D have disagreements on this ourselves. I can see where he's coming from. He can see where I'm coming from. We're not really going to lose sleep over what the other one thinks. It's just our own opinions. I would personally not have a problem if PlayerUnknown went down the route of Overwatch's style of rewards. Now, for those that don't know, Overwatch has the system where every time you level up, you will get a crate, and that gives you the ability to unlock basically anything in the game. Or you can pay X amount of dollars. Fucking stuff happening outside my window. You can pay X amount of dollars or pounds or whatever. Well, you shut the fuck up. To unlock more crates. So if you think a progression of 1 crate a day, I think you can get 3 crates every week as well for a certain number of wins in the arcade mode. So that gives you, say you play for 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you win a fair number, you'll get 3 crates for the wins, 2 crates a day. That's not bad. That's 17 crates in a week if you're playing a lot. And I don't even know if 2 hours a day is a lot. I know I play a couple hours of Smite every day, but you can see where I'm coming from. Where the entire system is, you can get a load of crates throughout the week for playing, or you can pay X amount of money and get 25 crates or whatever have you for that amount, and you get the same things from the crates. There is literally no difference between the crates that you buy and the crates that you earn. There is none. There's no difference. CSGO has more of a system of you get the crates through gameplay. However, you have to buy keys to unlock the crates. What you can do on CSGO, however, is sell the crates to try and get some money to be able to buy keys, and then use the keys to unlock the crates you want to unlock. The issue with that is there's a big supply and demand problem regarding PlayerUnknown and CSGO. I'll get both suffer. CSGO definitely suffers from it, where the supply of the crates far outweighs the demand for the crates, because the people that are playing the game are getting the crates, and people that who want to open the crates but don't want to buy the keys are selling their crates. But there's so many crates that you need to sell to be able to get a key. It's ridiculous, and the value goes right down. There are people on the subreddit saying that if PlayerUnknown was to go that route, and the speed at which you can get crates in game, if they were to keep the BP system, the cost of a crate would probably go down to about 3 cents. 1 cent going to the person who sold the crate, 1 cent going to Bluehole, and 1 cent going to Steam or Valve. And that's probably about right, but that means you'd have to sell 250 crates in order to be able to open one. And I can see that's definitely where a fair number of people are annoyed. The thing is, we're not very clear on how they're going to be doing this. We're not clear whether it's going to be CSGO's route where you unlock the crates in-game and buy them and open them with real money, or whether you just buy the crate and get stuff randomly anyway. But it's an awkward one, because I can see with a game like PlayerUnknown, you're going to have to keep the game going, as it were. You've got the initial payment from people, but that's not going to always last you in the long run. You've always got to pay for employment of your people. You've got to pay for server costs, constant development. Anything goes wrong, there's a lot of costs which a lot of people don't see when it comes to running a company or an MMO or an online game in general, and a lot of people don't take that into account. Now, I can see that there'd need to be a reason to have some real money transactions in order to keep the thing going, in order to keep the DLC free. We're going to use air quotes for free for this, because nothing in this is free. There's always a cost to it, whether it's attributed through a direct payment or through microtransactions at some point. I honestly wouldn't mind if I went Overwatch route, but I'd have a major thing against going to CSGO route. My biggest gripe is if you remove any in-game progression. And what we've had for this entire process at this point in time is we have had in-game progression. You've been able to buy all the crates with the in-game currency, and the moment you get rid of that and make it all money transactions, there are going to be a few things. Even games like Smite and LoL and Dota, you have the ability to buy the skins, certain skins, I should say, with in-game currency, which you won't be paying. There are other skins, as a lot of skins in Smite are earned through, you're bought through real money, but you still have a capacity to earn the in-game, the premium currency for gems for Smite. If Bluehole went that route, if PlayerUnknown went that route, I'd still think there's going to be a fair amount of backlash, but it means there will be a way of getting the currency to open the crates. You will be able to get the new looks, if you will. I know that there are some members of the community who are a little bit annoyed that PlayerUnknown has gone back on his word. That's fair. He did say no real money no microtransactions before leaving early access. We're still very much in early access. There are a lot of things that need to be fixed before we go live, before it comes out. Faulting, doors, the general lag, a lot of quality of life changes, and there's a lot of things coming in the future which are going to be changing things up, and we need to bear that in mind. But he did say no real money, no microtransactions before we come out of early access. He's gone back on that. Now, there are a couple things to address with this. One, if he's going back on his word on this, there are a lot of questions to be brought up on what he's going to go back on in the future. And I'm not saying that, oh, he said this now, what does that mean he's going to be... So he said we're putting vaulting in. Is he going to remove that? Is he not going to bother putting vaulting in the future? He said no real money transactions before leaving early access. We're not leaving early access yet, but he's already got real money transactions. And there are a lot of things to go into, and that's an entirely different video. But trust is a big thing. And if you start losing trust with your community at this stage, you've got to be very careful in the future. And the follow-up from that is the whole PR issue. Now, we know the banning situation from a couple weeks back, and how that wasn't handled in the most professional way. And I think the big issue in terms of what's happening at the moment is a lot of it is PR. PlayerUnknown himself, the lead game designer of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the clues of the title, he's not the most professional on Twitter. He's definitely got a slight holier-than-thou attitude, and a lot of people don't like that. There's no denying he's got a very good idea for a game, and he's implementing the game itself a lot better than the other Battle Royale games. But always remember that how you interact with your community can and will have an effect on how the game progresses in the future. He says he wants to see it going on for 5 to 10 years. And if you keep having the attitude you've got at this point in time, you may not make it to that 5-year point. I think the big issue at the moment is a lot of people, if all of the people involved in the front-facing, customer-facing PR roles haven't had much experience in it. And that's going to need to change. Whether the PlayerUnknown Twitter handle is passed over to a PR person instead of PlayerUnknown, and he has his own Twitter account to do his thing, to make the PlayerUnknown account an actual. You can make it a character. You could make it a PR thing. You can do a lot of things with it, but it needs to change from what it is now, where the person that's in charge of that, PlayerUnknown himself, is very much associated with the game. And when you are very associated with the game on Twitter, what you say can and will affect how people perceive your product. That's something you need to bear in mind. It will always colour people's opinion of your product, regardless of whether they know it's you or not. So a lot of the stuff that's happening at the moment, they need to worry about PR. They need to change the PR thing. Now, the big question we can ask about the entire microtransactions things, going back now, is the way it's been worded on Twitter isn't professional, sure. However, there are people saying, well, it could have been Bluehole. They want, they've realised the growth and they want to do the cash grab now. And that is perfectly logical. You can assume that. A lot of companies have done that. And I would not be surprised if Bluehole are the ones actually at this point in time pushing for the real money microtransactions to go through. However, they're like, well, why couldn't PlayerUnknown save it on Twitter? Very good reason why PlayerUnknown couldn't save that on Twitter. You do not fuck with the corporate overlord. If a company is there going, hey, that's a nice game you got there, and we know, we've got a deal thing going on here. Technically speaking, we now own the rights. Now, if you don't play ball, fuck off. Now, that's kind of how things can go. And the last thing you want to do in that situation is say, my corporate overlords are now saying this is what we should do. And that doesn't go down well. We do not like that. So but you don't go, yeah, we're scrapping what's currently in and we're going the microtransaction route, fuck you guys. You don't really go that way. You don't go all of one and you don't go all of the other. You find a middle ground. You could say, and he's kind of worded like this, we are going to be investigating possible microtransaction policies in the future. We may be implementing them in the very near future in order to gauge interest and modify numbers as needed. And that makes sense. That's a very middle of the road way of saying it. You don't say, fuck you guys, I want your money, and you don't say corporate wants your money. You don't say either of those. And I know a lot of people don't like the whole really corporate speak of we came to this conclusion because, or our data indicates, because you've got fuck all data, all you've got is the free data at this point. But you need to take those things into account. You can't say, you can't all lay it on PlayerUnknown at this point. I know he's not handled himself professionally on Twitter or in general, but I don't think this all lies on PlayerUnknown's shoulders. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't see and we will never see. Unless you suddenly start working for Bluehole or on the dev team for PlayerUnknown, you're not going to know this. So, just bear that in mind. But yeah. So, just to summarise, in my opinion, I honestly think that the CSGO route is the bad route. Sure, it works for Valve, but it doesn't make it a good route. It doesn't make it a good idea. I honestly think if you're going to go down the route that we're going towards real money transaction, microtransactions, I definitely suggest going down the Overwatch route. It's obviously working out for Overwatch. Interesting, the CSGO stuff is obviously working out for Valve. So I'm not sure which we can say, but we do know that they're going to have to think of some microtransaction route or some alternative money method for the future if they want to keep the game going in general. And I think it's just unreasonable to say at this point in time, we've sold 5 million copies, and that equates to about $150 million. Yeah, that's all well and good if you're selling each copy for $30, but it is about $150 million. However, $50 million of that goes to Valve because they take a 30% cut. Then you've got to take into account the paying of the staff. Not all of the money goes to the staff. Then you have to take into account the server costs, the development costs, the corporate costs. You've got to put your money out to shareholders because the shareholders want their moolah. You have to take all that into account. You can't just say they've made all this money, we shouldn't have to put anything else in. And for a multiplayer game's in a weird situation where they will always have server costs. So bear that in mind before you start judging them for doing the microtransaction route. There is a legitimate reason for it. And it's just the way they're going about it at this point kind of riles a few feathers. I'd say keep in an in-game progression, go the Overwatch route, or make it so that there's in-game create things with a low chance of getting a really nice looking thing, and make it so that if you pay money, you have a higher chance of getting the thing, or you can buy the thing directly. You know, the whole chest gambling route, it gets a bit old after a while. So, and you know, Smite does it. I'm not amazingly keen on it, but some of the really nice skins are in those chests, and that's a shame. So, but bear that in mind, guys. But very honest, let me know what your opinions on the entire PR and microtransaction debate is. You know, let me know your comments down below in the comment section, of course. If you like this video, click the like button. If you dislike this video, please click the dislike button. But please let me know why you dislike this video. I need to find ways of improving and know why you didn't like my video. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button. Also, go check out my Twitch, Darko3. Go check it out. My Twitter is also Darko3. Both of those are linked down below, along with Facebook and other things. Just go check them out. But other than that, guys, have a very good evening, morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you may be. And I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.